Do these examples sound like the makings of an epidemic of upside-down thinking? I believe so. Of course, these are just the random observations from a country preacher's perspective. Yet lest you think it's just me being an alarmist, I can assure you there is little comfort to be found in the scientific opinion surveys. For example, one survey for the 2008 election showed that 13% of Americans were prepared to cast a vote for a comedian who was pretending to run for president. Meanwhile, psychologists have identified a new compulsion called celebrity worship syndrome, CWS, and one study indicates that 36% of Americans may have it. I had an unusual opportunity to see this up close at the Grammy Awards ceremony in 2010. A lady sitting near me was extending her condolences to Lady Gaga for not winning the Album of the Year award. The pop diva pouted like a preschooler and said, "I already won 2 Grammys anyway." Another poll indicated that more than a third of Americans suspect their own government of being complicit in the horrific attacks of September 11, 2001. Whether there was a corresponding spike in the sale of tinfoil hats was not reported in the poll. In George Orwell's 1984, you find an entire society brainwashed into accepting absurdities such as war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Orwell's novel is just that, a story. However, what we are seeing today is real. To my left, a significant slice of our nation has bought into such bizarre ideas as pop stars are wise, Al Gore is our savior, Fox News is the devil. Such beliefs prove once and for all that truth is indeed stranger than fiction. To be fair, I see another segment on the far edges to my right. This group has become convinced that Jews are sneaky. FEMA is a sinister Illuminati plot, and Katie Couric sleeps hanging upside down from an attic rafter. Upside-down thinking happens on both sides, and it's nothing new. As I read history, I discovered that we are not the first culture to lose track of the general direction of up on a large scale. Take the French Revolution, when a so-called Enlightenment produced bloodthirsty mobs with pitchforks and torches. The hundreds who died daily at the guillotines probably enjoyed all the enlightenment they could bear. For a moment, supposedly built on the worship of reason, the French Revolution sure produced a lot of nuttiness, not to mention headless bodies. Centuries earlier, the Roman Empire prided itself on its wisdom, refinement, and civilization. Eventually, however, the wheels started coming off the chariot of cultural sanity, producing emperors who had all the reasoning power of Charles Manson, but with only half his moral fiber. As for refinement, the general public's idea of a grand day of entertainment consisted of watching people fight, bleed, and die in gladiator games. The prophet Isaiah knew a raging case of younger bear syndrome when he saw it. 700 years before the birth of Christ, he looked at his neighbors and wrote, "Woe to those who call evil good, and good evil, who substitute darkness for light, and light for darkness, who substitute bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter." That is as fine a description of upside-down thinking as you'll find. Woe is right, and woe, too. Old Isaiah was doing his best to flag down his fellow citizens who had all piled into a wagon and merrily sent it hurtling toward the nearest cliff. On the pages that follow, I hope to follow Isaiah's example. In order to do that, I am going to have to call foolishness what it is. Wherever nonsense on stilts parades itself around our popular culture like an out-of-control Shriner on the 4th of July, I must point to it with all the indignation that is proper to its outrage. But I'll do more. Where we've lost our way, I'll direct us to a reliable compass that always points true north. Where we are culturally dizzy and disoriented, I'll point up. Where we're happily careening toward a precipice like Thelma and Louise, I'll wave my arms and shout like the old-school preacher I am. You see, there's absurdity, and then there's madness, and our culture is descending into a unique form of madness. But it may not be too late. Perhaps I can show us a way out in the next few pages. Come on, Let's see if we can march through the crazy storm of our time to locate some good old-fashioned reality, and with some common sensibility, stop living on our heads and actually try walking on our feet again.